The Bamboo Project podcast starts in 3, 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Bamboo Project podcast. My name is Donovan Gray, the future $10 billion man. On the way to 10 billion, I decided I'm going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting my journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is Donovan Gray, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. We made different playlists for everything that we are into, and you can find all of those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 4, page 16. Today's date is Thursday, July 6th, and it is 9:53 a.m. So before we get into the topics of the day, we always start off with screen time. That is when me and my beautiful, phenomenal, amazing girlfriend check our phone and we see how much time we have spent on it last week. Okay, so last week, every day, I spent an average of, wow, check me out, 6 hours and 52 minutes on my phone each day.
Whose phone is that?
Listen, I'm just saying, we working on the side. My most used app was YouTube for 8 hours and 57 minutes for the whole week. Then it was Twitter for 8 hours and 3 minutes, and then Camera for 5 hours and 27 minutes. What are the odds that Instagram is not at the top of the list? And my highest usage day was Saturday for 9 hours and 18 minutes. It was YouTube, Instagram, and Square for that day. I picked up my phone every day on average 126 times, which is up from the week before, which was 119. So 7 more pickups is a little 6% increase. And then my first used app after pickup was Mail, then Twitter, then Instagram. So the reason why my screen time has been down is multiple reasons, right? It's multiple reasons. One, I've been playing Bloons Tower Defense 2, which is it's probably my favorite game to play right now. And I think the game has seeped over into my life where now I'm calculating things in reality, how I play the game. So that's also fun. Also, I've been using The Office, and being in the office for 3 hours straight, not using my phone for maybe more than 10, 15 minutes, that's a 3 hour gap of no phone time. So those things reduce my screen time. And it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better because, listen, my sister, her phone time, I remember seeing it before, was like 2 hours or 3 hours for the day. And I'm like, wow, people's phone time be that low? I'm like, 2 hours? What do you do with your life? How do you have a life and you're not on your phone for more than 5? I feel like the average amount of use for a phone is like 4 hours, 5 hours. Like, I don't even think I could reasonably use my phone for less than 3 hours. I don't know what kind of life I would have to be living for that to happen. It'll happen, I guess, maybe. 3 hours a day? That's how much time is that per? Let me see. If I use my phone for 30 minutes an hour for every hour I'm awake. So that'll be 16. That's about 8. It's about 8 times. If I use my phone for 20 minutes, an hour every day, for 16 hours, that'll be 5 hours a day. Is that a lot? I feel like that's very reasonable. What do you think?
20 minutes a day?
For 16 hours.
For 16 hours, it will be how much?
Every day. It'll be 5 hours.
Oh, right, yeah. That's
Right. But that's like, Nephew's is like 2-3 hours.
Nephew is also like at work.
I guess you would have jobs and careers, can't use their phone. I guess.
Right.
I guess they would frown upon that. But yeah, I think reasonably for me, 5 hours, anything under 5 hours is amazing to me. Like, that would be phenomenal. Under 5 is crazy. 6:52 or whatever I said today is not bad. So baby girl, what was your screen time like last week?
Last week, my screen time is up 10% from the week before at 6 hours and 33 minutes. Instagram was my most used app for 16 hours. then TikTok for 8 hours, then Square for 4. No, then Gmail for 4 hours, Square for 2 hours. My average amount of pickups were 160. And the first app I used after pickup was Gmail. And then after that, Instagram. Then after that, Square.
Now, subscriber check. On our main channel, we are at 6,546 subscribers. And on our up-and-coming, soon-to-be big channel, main channel, we are at 444 subscribers. I feel like... No, that's definitely up from last week. Yeah, it's definitely up. For the topics of the day, we're going to start off with our up-and-coming week at Chelsea. So... there are a lot of y'all probably are new who don't know what Chelsea really is or what it means. It's a craft fair or pop-up that's 7 days a week. So they cost us $1,550. Shout out to my guy Tim. And we're doing it 7 days from next Monday to Sunday. We're taking that following week off. And then we're doing the week after that. So we've had some ups and downs when it's come to doing Chelsea. And we've been trying to strategize on how much money we think we're going to make at Chelsea. So when we first started it earlier in the year and last year, we were like, you know what we're going to do at Chelsea? We're probably going to do like $7,000, $10,000 a week. Easy, right? We had some like $2,000 weeks, some $2,200 weeks. We had like a $4,000 week. Let me check. Let me see what's the most we made at Chelsea. So we did 3 weeks in March and we made $9,425, right? So $9,425. So we did on average $3,100 a week. And then our first week we did $3,400. So we feel comfortable saying that we will average $3,500 a week, which is, not as much as we wanted to. We thought like $5,000 would be like 5 to 7 would be the number that makes us feel comfortable. But $3,500 is not bad either in 1 week. So we have 2 weeks planned this month. And we think that this might be our first month getting ourselves out of a hole. I think if we can capitalize on this month the way that we have in our mind, I think this will be the first time that we are ahead. So we would have we would have covered our monthly debt, our monthly expenses, and we don't have to buy that much inventory. So what that means is, what is this? This is July. So August to December will just be us scaling and paying off debt. Like, we'll have a lot more money to put towards paying people back. So I'm kind of excited for that. And we were also trying to figure out what will be the next or the best strategy for us. I think we probably talked about it last week. We kind of no longer want to take on small amounts of debt. And by small, I'm thinking like, honestly, like under 10 grand. Like that's where we've been at in terms of, the talks of the inner workings of the company. Just because we have most of what we need, and the fairs that we would want to do kind of already passed, so we couldn't even really do those. Also, the biggest issue is the monthly payment amounts. I think right now our total debt to pay back that we are paying back per month is, let's see, we have 500, that's 1,000, another 250, that's 1,250, plus another 120, 1,445. And then we have to, that's not really debt, but we have to pay for the fair, which is another $1,400, that's $2,800. Then we have to pay back another $250 for another loan, the online marketing loan. So that will put us at about $3,000 and some change. If you want to count this as debt, but we have to pay the installments for the credit repairs, about $500 a month. So that will put us at $3,500. I think that's pretty much everything. We really don't have to buy much inventory going forward because we've already bought a lot of the inventory, like the wax. We've already bought the middle-sized vessels, and because we have more products, the demand is less. And I think it's so interesting how the economics work, where our demand before was high enough that we had to buy inventory a lot, but it wasn't high enough that it could sustain us buying enough inventory for the following week. So average supply and demand economics. It's like, okay, dag, if we could increase the supply of items that we have and products that we have, the demand will slow down, which then allows us to not have to buy as much inventory every single week. So we have 8 fragrances. We're not going to run out of 8 fragrances every week. There were times before, like, okay, if we make Do Not Disturb, the candle, in the big and the small, we literally have to buy a new bottle the following week because we're going to have to make, let's say, I'll give you some random numbers. If we're making 8 or 10 bottles of Do Not Disturb big, right? If we sell like 5 of those during the weekend, and like 10 of the small ones, we have to buy the fragrance oil again on Monday, right? Because we have to then re-up to get to that next, to get back to having 10 big candles. But now, we might sell 1 of each candle big, which is great money-wise. So 55 times 8 is like $600, something like that, right? I don't have to buy a new bottle of fragrance oil if we only sold 1 of the candles, like 1 fragrance of the candle. But because it's 8 different ones, it allows us to not have to buy inventory every week. Like I'm stressing it so much because we would make money during the weekend and be like, okay, how much money do we have? We look at the account, we go, okay, boom. We got $1,800 in here, $2,000 in here. We go, okay, what do we have to buy? We got to buy vessels. We got to buy wax. Wax is $350 just to buy enough wax. Then we have to buy fragrance oil. We have to buy wicks. And then out of the 1,800, or not, let me say not 1,800, out of the 1,400, just buying those materials right there is $600-700. Easily $700, right? Honestly, it's probably more, depending on how much wax we buy. But so if we're doing $1,400 on a weekend and we spend $700 on wax, we have to then put, which we haven't been doing before, but I want to start doing now, is taking the money out from the weekend and put towards the fair for that month. So that means that every weekend, technically, we're supposed to be paying $350. So we would take another $350 from the $1,400 and put it to the side. So out of the $700 plus the $350, we're at $1,050. So now we have $400 left over for the weekend, right? That money has to go to paying off debt, buying groceries, and trying to scale the business by booking out other fairs or buying inventory in bulk, right? So the struggle for that is a lot harder when you have to buy that stuff so often. But now, because we added more inventory, more supply, and we're buying less of it, it allows us to now have a lot more money left over on Monday, not to spend as much. So that has been like a very great surprise to notice it, because I think a lot of times I'll know something like, or how something should go, but when I'm actually, it feels different when you go through it than when I'm thinking about how it's supposed to go. So that's something I really am excited to see how it's been going, because it's only been like 2 weeks or 3 weeks that we've had that. So listen, Monday is our first Chelsea since March. Oh my goodness. We have we have Artisan Fleece this weekend. So we're going to be doing 9 days straight. It's going to be this Saturday, then Sunday, then all of the week. And then we're double booked that Sunday.
We're double booked the last weekend.
Okay, so triple booked. Jeez.
Yeah, triple booked the last week.
Yes, I'm just like, I just feel all the cuddlies inside, knowing that we have finally gotten over this baby hump that we've had. Last week was our first time selling the medium-sized candles, and I'm telling you right now, they a hit. They are doing exactly what they were supposed to do. So the price that we have been selling them for right now is $32, right? And the margins are so much better than the big candles were before. But because we added the new middle size, we raised the price of the big ones to $55. And I think we might have sold like 4 or 5 of those on Sunday. I want to double check and see how many we sold. Yeah, at $55.
That's crazy.
What?
$55.
On Saturday, we sold 4 big $55 candles. 4 of them. And we didn't even have all the inventory on Friday either, because a lot of stuff didn't come in when it's supposed to. So we probably could have sold another, like, at least about another 3 to 4 of the big ones. And we made $625 gross and $617 net on only 17 sales. Normally we do like 25 sales, 28 sales. And if we do 17 sales, we only made like $355 or $400. So now we're doing less sales. We're still making a lot of money, and we don't have to buy as much inventory the following week. So I'm telling, like I said, that this is why I love business. It's such a creative process. We sold 9 of the small ounce candles that weekend. I think we only brought, how many we brought that weekend? Do you remember? I think we brought like 24. So on Saturday we sold 9 out of 24. That's almost half. Yep, we brought 23 and we sold 9 of them on Saturday. That's crazy. And like I said, we didn't even have all the ones that they wanted. So this week coming up is gonna be great, just because we're gonna have a lot of the candles that they want, and we have perfumes. The perfumes have been like slowly creeping up on sale. Like, people are buying the room spray, people are buying the perfumes. We just now decided to add a new scent called Divine Feminine. Shout out to Sarah, right? That's gonna be the one that she liked the most. That's the one she be, right? Yeah. So that's the name we came up for. So it's like, listen, the names, I think, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think that we have a very high skill when it comes to naming products. Whether it be something that comes from, you know, what was that line from before? It's not coming from me, it's coming through me. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of our names have been like that. Like, I don't know if I told you. I think I did. I don't think I did. So I was at Grand Bazaar this Sunday. We were double booked. And someone, again, came to the table and asked about a D. Okay. And they were going to buy because a D was coming over to their house that day. Right? They were like, oh my God, she would love this candle. I mean, you know what's crazy? If it's actually her. I don't think it is. But, and they were like, it would be so great to buy her this candle. We didn't have the 7-ounce one. And they were going to buy the 7-ounce one if we had it. And they was like, 55 is kind of high. So they didn't buy it. But when I think about that name, when I thought about the name a D, I'm like, I feel like we like her. So it's like, it's a good name just because it's something that means something to us. Like, we like a D, she's a cool person, and let's name a candle after her. I had no idea that the response and feedback was be as high and big as it was when we decided to name it a D. Had no idea, right? When we had the names for the first collection, I don't think I put that much stock in the names. It was like, okay, here's a framework for the name. Let's just name these like this. But people love the name of the candles. People are like, hey, these are great names. The new collection, people are like, what made you name it these? And I feel like even the Fine Feminine one we came up with yesterday, where it's just like, yeah, this one is right. this one is the right one. Like,
and I think it's funny that that's the first perfume that we sold on the website, is that scent.
Right. Like, we've been hustling this week because I really want to get everything in order. So there's a tweet that I read recently about open loops, and I want to close as many open loops as we have as possible. And there are a lot of times I'll have a thought throughout the weekend and I'll just write it down in my reminders real quick, and it just kind of pile up, and I want to get a lot of those things out. And the hard thing about it is, in my brain, they're not large tasks. Like, these aren't things that are like, oh, okay, they got to be done or whatever. But then I get to the weekend, someone goes, hey, can I smell a candle? And I'm like, oh, let me give you this book. And we don't have the book. Or the price is not in the book, or we go to Grand Bazaar, we don't have enough vases. And it's like, I know we've been talking about doing these things for weeks and months, but larger things that are more important come up. And it's like, okay, now I'm going to focus on trying to close all these little open loops, because my brain thinks about them and they come up during the weekend. So that's something that we've been working on this week. And one of those things Melissa was doing was adding products to the website, because it's like, it's not hard to add a product to the website, but it's time consuming. And it's like, okay, I got to make sure that the format looks right. I gotta make sure the pictures look good. I gotta make sure that everything is aligned correctly. I gotta make sure that it makes sense. I gotta put words. I gotta create an image. So Melissa's doing all of those things, and it's like, it's not a priority of things to do, but it needs to be done. Like, let me say it like this: it's lower on our priority list, but it's like, all right, once I do it, it's gonna be, that's it. She not have to do it again. It's up and it's done. So she did that early this week, and our first perfume sale. Mind, we had the perfumes for like, how long had the perfumes now for? A month and a half?
Yeah, probably.
And this is our first time putting them on the website. At like a day after, 2 days later, someone comes on the site and buys a perfume. And it's like, that's crazy. I remember this morning or yesterday morning, Melissa and I were talking about, okay, what's the plan? What are we going to do? Like, how are we going to pay everybody back? How are we going to make more money? How are we going to get a position that we're in? How are we going to be able to pay rent? And a lot of other things, right? And I just had a thought where it was just, I think we're doing the right stuff. Even though we're like walking through slush and mud, we're doing the right things. And I know if we just keep doing those things long enough, that we'll get out of the situation that we're in, or the position that we're in. And it's a weird response to have, because I don't know when it'll work or how long it'll take to work. Similar to the perfumes, where we had no idea we would get a sale the day after the perfume was put up, but we know we had to put the perfume on the website. So that just goes to show me and reinforces the idea. I know what we're supposed to do. It's working. We're getting where we want to get to. Let's just keep doing that. And when I look back at this, right? Everything that we are doing right now, we have already spoken about doing. Every single thing that we have, like everything where it comes to being the perfume, getting the middle-sized vessels, adding new scents, adding another collection, adding different size perfumes, doing Chelsea. Because there was a point in time that we just talked about Chelsea and we never did it. We're like, okay, we want to do Chelsea. We're probably talking about it for months last year. Like, I would love to do Chelsea. It'll be great. And now Chelsea is like, we've done it almost 4 or 5 times. We did it 4 times, and we have it booked 2 more times this month. I remember our first time having a double booking. We were like, oh my God, double booking. This is crazy. Then we had our first triple booking. We were like, oh my God, triple booking. We're trying to figure out how we're going to have enough people to do it. And now it's like, all right, what is it going to be? Friday triple booking. All right, we're going to have this person here, that person there. And we'll just do that and go about our day. Like, it's so crazy to see it, because we remember it, right? I don't know if y'all remember it, but we remember the time where we were not where we were at right now. So it's a very interesting concept when I think about it. It's like, everything that we wanted to do, we're doing. It's just not happening at the time we wanted to do it at. So, like I said, I'm ecstatic to see that we are doing it. We were doing the math yesterday, and it seemed like we could pay off. I want to get the numbers correct. This is our projection we have for this month, and we will see at the end of the month if we hit these projections or not. Okay, so right now, we have roughly $1,400 across all of our accounts, right? We have to pay back this month a total, well, how do I put this? Because it's not all, I'm gonna call it debt. Our debt for this month is $6,000. We have to pay $6,000 in debt this month. $6,000 in debt. That is a mortgage on like a $1 million house. Like, at least it was a couple years ago. That's $6,000 is what our payment would be this month, right? That's not including inventory. Inventory is an additional $3,700. So that is $9,000. Let's call it $10,000 that we have to pay back this month, right? But here's the crazy part about that. After paying back all the debt that we have this month, after buying inventory, which means booking a new fare, that would cover us paying for last month and this month at Williamsburg. The only thing it probably wouldn't cover is doing Chelsea again twice. So we would have $10,000 to pay off this month in inventory and in debt. Our potential income right now is $12,400. We would have left over $4,054 left over. Is that right? Oh yes, because that's what we already have in cash already on hand. Okay, so right, we would probably have close to $4,000 at the end of this month in an account after we pay off everybody. That's crazy. So, like I said, I'm hoping that we could get to our numbers, stick to our guns, and hit our goals for this month. So now on to the next topic. One thing that will be helping us with these goals that we have is food stamps, EBT, government assistance, social services, communism, right? So Melissa applied like last week for governmental assistance, social services, communism, EBT, food stamps, and they approved us right now for a one-time payment of $300 roughly. That covers an entire month of food for us, if depending on how we want to budget it. It gets us through the whole month for food wise, right? That's only her. I think we can both apply for food stamps, and that's additional money that we have to put towards food, which is honestly the only expense that we really have. Like, we don't really have our food, the cat food, toilet tissues, toilet paper, toothbrushes, things like that. Those are like our biggest expenses. And maybe I would say like subscriptions, but barely. So yeah. I don't know, guys. I'm just like, wow. I just look at us making moves, doing things. And if they gave us both $300 each, that would be $600 we could spend on food. And to be honest with you, the only real issue that we ever get into is food related at this point in our relationship. It's just Melissa wants to buy groceries. I'm saying we shouldn't. She doesn't like that. I don't like her wanting to spend money on groceries and food. I'm like, listen, we could just not eat for a couple of days. It's fine, right? She's like, no, we can't do that. So a lot of our and we don't really argue about it as much, but that was the stem of our issues in the last like 6 weeks or so. Like, that would really be it, right?
From the past.
Oh, right. Well, I'm saying like we haven't really had issues outside of.
I see.
Yeah, that. I think that prior to 6 weeks we were probably arguing about other stuff, but I think in the last 6 weeks our arguments have mostly just been food related. So if we are having $600 extra to spend on food, what are you arguing about?
Right.
As soon as you argue about, listen, go eat some food. go cabinet, the whole cabinet of food, go buy something or go eat something. So I think that that'll help us a lot, and it just frees up another $600 to put towards paying off debt. Like I said, every time I think about it, I cannot wait, because I tell you all the time, I can be very arrogant, right? Very, 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 very arrogant. And let me define arrogant, because I'm pretty sure I am, or can be. I wouldn't say I am. I think I have it in me for sure. Arrogant means, no, I would say I'm arrogant for sure. Yeah. I wouldn't call it exaggerated, but it says having or revealing an exaggerated sense of one's own importance or abilities. What's exaggerated mean? But see, I feel like exaggerated means you're lying. Oh, no. Yep. I'm very arrogant. Oh, yeah. I'm going to say it all the time. I'm very arrogant, because the word exaggerated means regarded or represented as larger, better, or worse than in reality, right? The other definition says enlarged or altered beyond normal proportions. That one's me. That's me. I am what's the word? Let me see, I gotta put the sentence together correctly.
But does that mean that you're delusional?
No, hold on. My importance and abilities are beyond normal proportions.
Sir. I think that's not what it says.
That's what I read. That's what it says. It says.
That's what you read?
That's what it says. It says that's what it says. Arrogant means revealing a sense of one's own importance or abilities. They use the word exaggerated. So exaggerated means
Read it again.
having or revealing an exaggerated sense of one's own importance or abilities.
You're right. Exaggerated means that you ain't.
No, exaggerated means enlarged or altered beyond normal proportions.
Right. So that means that it's bigger than it normally is.
Right. Yes, my abilities are bigger than normal. Yes.
No.
Yes. Normal proportions of a regular human. Yes, I have larger abilities than a regular human.
I see. Obviously, my interpretation.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about myself, right? And I say this because when we do the podcast that says we paid off $100,000 worth of or $200K worth of debt in 18 months, something like that.
Bro, crazy.
No one should say anything to me. Don't no one say nothing to me. I don't want to talk to you. I remember everything. I remember everyone and everything. I guarantee it. It will not leave my mind. And up to this point, I feel like I've, forsaken the last couple of weeks or whatever, a month or two, because I have been in my villain arc for a couple of weeks now. But prior to that, I was very nonchalant. I'm like, you've been through it. No, I'm at a point where if it does not serve me, if it does not help me, it don't have to be financially. It's just like, hey, what kind of person are you being to me? I don't want you around me. I don't want it. I don't need it. And I've learned there are billions of people in the world. And I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people don't have abilities that are larger proportions like I do. So because of that, I don't want to be around someone with lesser abilities than proportional to what they should have. I don't want that around me. I want all the most arrogant people around me. That's what I need. Okay? That's what I want. Because they believe.
Say arrogant. Are you talking about confident?
So arrogant means
That's not.
regarded or represent. Oh, no, that's my bad. That's exaggerated. Having an exaggerated sense of one's abilities.
You said confident people. You want confident people around you. People that are.
I want arrogance.
It sounds to me like you want confidence.
Confidence? No. I want.
People who are assured and people who have a great understanding of their abilities and their ability to execute on certain things. That's what it sounds like to me.
Arrogance. I don't know how you define as arrogance. I want people that's gonna be like.
That wants to be better than you. That's who you want around you.
That think they are.
They think they're better than you.
Yeah, I would love that. I think so. I think I can appreciate that because I'm like, it gives me the.
I'm not a man, so.
Because it's like, and it's the thing. It's not about being better than me necessarily. It's more so about HRA. It's more so about them believing in themselves.
Right, confidence.
Arrogance.
No.
What's the difference?
Because arrogance is an inflated belief of yourself.
What does inflated mean?
That it's more than what you have.
How can I believe more than I believe myself? What does that mean?
What?
Like, what is it? How would you define?
How can you what?
Right. How if you're saying that it's an exaggerated belief of myself, which means that I believe in myself more than I believe in myself? Like, what is the exaggeration?
The exaggeration is that you your current state is probably less than what you think you're currently at. Not that you can't get there, but just it's less than what you think you are currently at.
So you're saying that, like, if I said I'm gonna be a millionaire, does that count as being arrogant?
Does that count as being arrogant?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
If I said I'm gonna be worth $10 billion, does that count as being arrogant?
I don't think so. I think arrogance comes in.
If I said I'm the shit when it comes to this business stuff.
If you said that you were one right now, or like.
Right, I don't think I'm a billionaire. I mean, I think I have all the skills to be those things. Well, that's not true. I think I'm on the path. I wouldn't say I have the skills right now to be a millionaire. Yes, a billionaire. Maybe. I definitely think I have the skills to be several $100 million. I would say, given the resources, I could be a billionaire.
Sure. I don't think that's arrogance.
Right.
I think arrogance.
No, I think it is. Like, okay, I'm listening. Go ahead.
I think arrogance is like, it doesn't matter what life throws at me, right? Like.
Yes, I feel like that.
Oh my God.
I feel like, listen, you can't listen. I have come from so much craziness that I feel like I will be fine with anything.
Sure.
Yes.
Not,
mm-hmm.
I'm trying to choose my words carefully.
Mm-hmm. I'm arrogant. I'm going. I'm listening. I feel it. I'm like, that's the thing.
I think people should believe highly of themselves.
I do. That's why I'm arrogant. I'm like, what is the downside of being arrogant? Because here's the thing, right?
I guess
because
make other people feel bad.
Right, exactly. I don't give a fuck. Here's the thing, right? Here's what's crazy, right? If I believe I'm the best player in the NBA, right? Am I basing that off what I believe or what somebody else believes?
You can't.
You said what?
You can't.
Can't what?
You can't do either.
Can I really? Cause I'm like, okay, boom. If I said, like, Mark Zuckerberg goes, hey, I'm gonna be a billionaire, or I'm gonna be the youngest billionaire in this generation. They're gonna be like, oh my God, you're so arrogant. You can't do that. You're not gonna be the bill. And he does it. Was he being arrogant? Or was he only arrogant in perspective or relation to other people feeling about his abilities? Tell me. It's like,
sure. So you're saying that being arrogant seems to fall in the realm of what other people believe about you.
Right. Because I'm like, if I believed I could be a billionaire,
I could only be arrogant
to somebody else.
Right.
Like, okay. Only someone else could be like, oh, Donovan, you're like,
not gonna be that, or you're not.
Right. And if I don't believe I could be that, then I'm not arrogant. Because I don't believe myself. So if I believe it, it's fine. But if you don't believe it, that's on you. And like I said, it's whatever to me. At the end of the day, I said this a lot. I say this all the time. I think I'm extraordinary. And I hate that word because it's like extraordinary. I don't even know how to come up with that definition. I think I am amazing and phenomenal. That's what I think. And when the time comes, the people who don't see it will see it. It don't really affect whether they see it or not. You can't miss it. You're not going to be able to miss it at that point. But it will come. So I just want to put that out there. Like I said, I just think it's going to happen. I know that it's going to happen. The timing of it, honestly, really depends on how extreme I want to go in, like, now. Like, because I can become very obsessive. So if I decide to obsess over certain things, we would get a lot of that stuff faster. But I have to trade. It's a trade-off. Like, okay, I now have to be miserable. I have to now not talk to other people. I have to now be super uncomfortable. And it's like, it's more of a dichotomy to be managed than it is a binary this or that. So it's like, okay, how much uncomfortability will I take on to move my goals closer to myself? That's how I look at it right now. And I want to put myself in a position where it's convenient to be uncomfortable. And this is something I was talking about on Twitter. I won't say I was talking about it, but I thought about it. When you left the house? Yes, it was when you left the house, right? Melissa went to go get the food stamp card and drop off a package. Oh, shout out to my guy, Tyre. What happened? And he bought the new collection, and he got room service, which is the staple from the first collection. So I'm curious. Let me know which one you like out of the next 4. Okay, and leave a review. We need reviews on the website to like let people know how they smell. Melissa went downstairs. No, she left. I went downstairs to get something from the vending machine. And when I came back upstairs, I was like, wow, it's very convenient to spend money on something I don't need to be buying. Right? And I think that a lot of times people think about convenience in terms of what's good for them. Right? Like, oh, this feels good. This is convenient to do. But I think if I can make convenience, if I can make success convenient, I'll become more successful. So if I do things like, okay, I'm going to be in the storage unit, it's more convenient for me to be in there editing videos than it is for me to be on Instagram, right? Or in the house on Instagram. So if I can set my life up the next couple of weeks where it's more convenient for me to be successful, whether it be going to storage unit, adding products to the website, selling at the craft fair, those things make it more convenient. Let me Google the word convenient. Let me figure out what the word convenient means. Involving little trouble or effort. Situated so as to allow easy access to. Right? So if I make it very easy to become successful, that's what's going to happen. So here's another example of that, right? I remember there's a chair that we have in the house, right? And I remember sitting in it going, you know what? I want my chair to be a little bit uncomfortable because I don't want to fall asleep while I'm working, right? So when I got home, used a chair, and it was convenient for me to feel uncomfortable because I bought a chair that would make me feel uncomfortable. The problem is I was so uncomfortable, I didn't want to sit in a chair no more. Right? And I was like, So I ended up having to buy like one of them cushions to sit on because the chair was so uncomfortable. And I'm like, if I apply that logic to things that give me more success, I will have more of it because it's like a compounding effect of conveniency. If I just keep doing things like, here's another example, right? I remember Alex talked about how he wanted to, I think you probably similar to this too. Alex talked about how he wanted to like change his skincare routine or something like that, right? So he decided that he used to have his skincare routine like in the drawer or like on the nightstand table, something like that, right? I remember. So he decided to take it and put it like right on top of his bed. So like it makes it convenient to be like, oh, okay, I'm in my bed. All I gotta do is reach my arm up and grab it and put it on my face. That's it. That's all you gotta do. So he decided to make it more convenient to get his facial routine done. So if I look at life from how much easier am I making this for myself, things will be easier. Am I making it? And I thought about it with the house too. I'm like, did I make the house process easy or hard? Which one do you think? Which one do you think, man? Hard. Absolutely. We bought a house in another state. Our first time house, like, I'm going to go down the list of inconvenient factors.
Oh, really?
We bought a house in another state, right? It's our first time buying a house, and we did another state. We hired someone that we've never used before. We hired someone without, like, talking to someone that they have worked with, right? We didn't have a lot of people that live in Philadelphia or even like flip houses like that in Philadelphia. So it would only make sense that the job would be a lot harder because we made it so much more inconvenient. No, we made it more convenient to be a harder job. Very much harder, right? So, like I said, now I've been looking at this from this lens, like how how can I make this easier and more convenient? And it's another anecdote. Making the candles, okay? We made it easier to make more candles. So what happens? We just make more candles. Like it's so much. If making the candle is hard, I'm not gonna want to do it. That's a natural response to someone doing something. If it's hard, you don't want to do it. But what you can do is make the hard thing easy. So now it's no longer hard. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. It's insane, right? So like I said, that is the process I've been thinking about over the last couple of weeks. Next topic is we had a photographer hit us up. Now, we had something like this in the past where someone had saw us. I think she saw us at the fair in Brooklyn and Chelsea, and she said that she wanted to do short form content for us. And she gave us her rates, and we were kind of like, we were thinking about it, but I don't personally think that at the time, remember, time is also everything. I didn't think at the time we could really utilize short form content, especially for that price he wanted. It was like $100 for a video or $200 for a video, something like that. We couldn't really utilize that content other than just posting on different platforms or whatever. So someone else hit us up recently and said they're a photographer, and I'll put her videos, not her videos, I'll put her pictures on the screen. She did some amazing work, and photos is something that we can really use right now since we're running ads. Honestly, I think that other girls' content would be good for ads, but we have Sarah. Shout out to Ember, first ambassador. She makes content, so oh my God, we could use Sarah's Reel as an ad. Oh my goodness, I never even thought about that.
I never thought about that either. Sarah already in the budget.
Oh my goodness. Listen, Sarah, we got that check for you. Don't worry. It's coming. That's crazy. We haven't done a video ad before, have we? Oh, when the person got beat up but for not cutting their wig. That was the first time we ever ran a video. They were like, I'm not sure why Facebook will promote violence as an ad. Stop her. Stop. So we need photos for products on the page. We need photos for the landing page. We need photos for the copywriting as far as what it's going to be attached to. We need photos for Instagram. We need photos for ads. We need photos. And her price is like $30, $40 per picture. And we have 20, 35 products right now. So we're thinking, of course, and she does lifestyle, she does product photography, and they look really good. So that's why we're like, we have a marketing budget. Let's spend it on this. Let's put the money towards this and ads. And I think that's a great collaboration between the two. Her content and her ads, and we just, boom, we do that. So there was one thing. So she had cold emailed us. And I remember I saw Alex say this too, which I thought was very interesting because I will definitely at some point be doing this. He was saying that if you talk to someone random, you're either gonna make money or learn how to make money. Like if you cold email people. So if I reach out and say, hey, do it at Carry Out Candles, we have a 12 pack for $500. If I do it enough, people they're either gonna ignore me, they're gonna say no, or they're gonna say yes, right? I think that if they say no, I could probably learn why they said no and utilize that for the next person. And then at some point, I would have DM'd someone or emailed someone who would say yes, they will buy a box of candles from us. And I think that's crazy because it's just cold emailing, and ChatGPT could write up an email in seconds. I could just send it out to everybody. So I was thinking about doing it just for the fun of it, to just send a bunch of emails out to people, but I also don't want to be seen as spam. But maybe emails would be better than DMs. I guess we have to see. I don't know. But I just think that would be so much. I would love to try and see what the results are. Maybe add it to my list of things to do. But I don't know. Maybe that's an August, September thing.
I walked away.
Right,
I had 100 lives.
I sat down.
I came back.
Damn,
I have 7. How that happen? All right.
Oh, you know what else happened too? I think you just used the super monkey thing to shoot all of them, so I couldn't press that. I'm press this. I looked at it like still low down.
I won like 5 games in a row, and then they started putting people against me that like have a better opening. So I'm gonna choose a different hero because I don't think Azalea is good for that.
Yeah, why you put her out?
Because she's not good for that.
Oh.
The tax shooter is better. Hi everybody. Yeah. As Donovan said, we got emergency food stamps. So that's like quicker than the regular food stamps. So it's a one-time thing, and then they're still gonna decide whether or not we'd be able to get it going forward. So, and it's like, it's so funny because I did the taxes for the business and everything, and it's like we don't have money left over to live. Like there is money, there's a lot of it, but not enough to live. So, and wow, hellish place. I didn't have to go down to the food stamps office in terms of like they send the card in the mail. And it should be very quick, but we had no food in the house. And I read that you could get a temporary one the same day. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the office. I'm going to get a temporary one. And that was yesterday. So yesterday I did a shit ton of things. Once again, shout out to Tyre for ordering them candles. I sent it out his yesterday, like as soon as I possibly could. Then y'all going to see it in the vlog. If you're subscribed to the Ember Candle Co. page, you'll see it. I was walking all over the place yesterday, but my 2 feet carried me very far. So, either way, I think I know what purgatory is, and it is inside the waiting room of a social service. Yeah, it's inside a social service waiting room. That is purgatory. 100%. I had to wait for like, I thought I was getting through real quick. I thought I was like, phew. Got my paper, spoke to the person. They said gonna call me. I'm like, I think gonna call me. Was there for an hour and a half. Just in hell, in purgatory. You can't really get too engulfed in anything. You can't watch a movie really, or you can't like watch videos too intently because you have to still listen out for your name. There's babies crying. There's like, it's just everything all at once. And I was like, wow, this is where I am today. So it's just interesting. And then also you never know other people's situations. So, but yeah, purgatory, hell, definitely that. What else is going on? I am still sick. I've been sick for maybe 3 weeks now. And it's 100% food related. So let's see how much better I feel now that we have the food stamps and we could pay for better food. So let's see how that goes. But I only bought like $50 worth of food, and then we're gonna actually do our grocery shopping at Trader Joe's this weekend, which I'm like so excited about. I don't think I understand because Donovan with the open loops thing, I cannot function if I'm hungry. It doesn't go well. That's why for me to function without food is just I don't operate in that space. So I'm very excited to see how much work I could get done with my belly not being hungry. Journaling, I haven't even seen my journal in days. Maybe we have a bajillion candles to make today, so about to do that. And we've been watching Desperate Housewives. Right now is definitely my favorite show, and I really like it so much because I feel like it's just the epitome of womanhood, of being a woman, and just all the different plights or all the different nuances that come from being that, whether it's having children, not having children, infidelity, your relationships with other people, your relationship with your husband. Are you gonna be the one that's working all the time? Is he the one that's working? At some point, do y'all switch? And then what is more important? If my spouse interferes with my career, do I divorce them? Do I stay with them? It's just a lot. It's a lot of things to think about. And I think it's interesting that the older that I get, the more appealing this show has become, and now I'm like watching it every day versus when I was younger. I remember watching more shows about like college and how that's supposed to be. So I just think it's interesting how you could kind of get a glimpse into your future from watching these types of shows. But yes, that is it. Thank you for my
So the last topics for the day is just, like I said, this debt thing. I feel like it's getting to a point where it's becoming, it's just a lot, but it's not unexpected. We kind of plan to be here, but it's like sometimes we need things to move faster than they are currently moving. So we have to pay for Artisan Fleas, and because it's 5 weeks in July, we have to pay 5 weekends worth of fares. So that's $1,700, and they want us to pay it in June. We haven't even paid it yet, so we're trying to figure out but we're gonna like restructure how we pay it. So we're gonna try and pay like a portion of it now, portion of it next week, because then probably in 2 or 3 weeks they're gonna ask us for the next month, which is another $1,400. So I think that it's just crazy. But again, this was all planned because that's how we have 2 weekends of Chelsea coming up. This is all part of the plan to cover all of that stuff. This is where the arrogance come from, right here. So we have that. Like I said, we still have the other $3,000 worth of debt, and we utilized the small amounts of debt to get us here, and it's working. And the next step is to get larger amounts of debt to get us to the next stage of it, and more commercialized debt, because they have better terms and they give larger amounts. So I think that's something that we would probably start looking at more. It's like, okay, we're going to get a 3% loan or 5% loan for $100,000, $200,000, something like that, as opposed to 6, 7, 10, 12, 20%, 40%. I think that, and they're probably gonna be longer terms, because right now we're paying back shorter term loans with a higher interest rate, which is fine. That was the plan originally. It's like, okay, we have to take on more shitty contracts just because we are not in a position to negotiate better deals. So it's like, it's fine with me. But like I said, at the end of this month, we're going to really see how things turned out. Did we do what we planned to do? How well did it go? What changes do we have to make? And I'm excited. I'm really excited for what is to come. I really believe that this month and this quarter will be a really good quarter for us. And I think that after this quarter, it'll be the last quarter of the month. Wow. I think that the beginning of the next quarter will be transformational. So
question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just looking forward to next year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you would still like look at things in quarters? Like,
oh yeah, for sure. Why? What made you ask that?
I'm just curious because New Year's is definitely approaching,
mm-hmm.
and you could opt to not go that way.
We may not go that way.
Like, we could choose to not like focus on things in quarters and just have a goal for the year. Like, we could choose to do something different, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say quarters is fine. Like I said, I think having the quarters lets me recalibrate every couple months, check how well I'm doing, if we had to change anything, if we got to go in a different direction. And it's like New Year's 4 times a year in my head. I think it's funny because you remember that guy who was like, he has 3 days in one day or 5 days in one day. He was like, listen, I take a nap. That's when we going to sleep. I wake up, a new day. I go to nap and take a nap again. I go to work. That's another day. It's like, I live 6 days in one day. I'm doing more work than y'all. And it was like, okay, bro. It's like, all right, okay. But you can find all the behind the scenes content on our social medias. Mine is Donovan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. You know what it is. Hashtag Bamboo Project 2023, the road to 500K. And with that being said, Bamboo Project out.